What's going on, Pop Culture fam? It's your boy J. Rue and
Kungfu.
And we back, baby. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everybody that's reached out and commented, and a big thank you to Kungfu here, Daniel, for allowing the break for my family's medical emergency.
Not a problem.
So I appreciate that, sir.
For sure.
Awesome. But yeah, everything's good. We're in a better spot, so I'm able to come back and do the work. And today we're going to go over 2 episodes of The Last of Us. We're going to go episodes 2 and 3. Quick 45-minute show.
Yeah,
talk a little bit about that.
A little bit.
We're going to rapid fire some shows this week. Probably do about 2 or 3 recordings. Get some shows out to you guys so we can catch up. Because we got a lot coming up this week. Tomorrow, in fact, is Mandalorian Season 3.
Yep.
We got Creed coming out this weekend. We both saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. We got our opinions about that. So we got a lot of content coming out for you guys here in the next week or two. So be on the lookout for multiple shows coming out here shortly. And so I guess without further ado, The Last of Us Episode 2. Let's roll.
All right, people. So pretty much, if you guys remember, and you got to go back right now, we're on episode 7. So episode 2, if you remember, you had the scientist overseas. She was trying to figure out, they called her in about what the hell this is. She saw these tests. She freaked the hell out and said, pretty much.
She was like, where the cordyceps come from? And they were like, bread. Bingo!
Right.
We kind of called it. We kind of called the bread.
Exactly. Yeah. And then had a conversation, and she pretty much, I guess, the security guard asked her, what do we do next? She said one word, bomb. Bomb everything. Bomb the cities. Just bomb it all. And sure enough, fast forward into the episode where you see Tess, Ellie, and Joel. They're leaving the actual, I guess, was it
Fedra structure, the Fedra internment camp. They're walking through Boston, and you see a bomb crater.
You see a bomb crater. So pretty much, now at this point, every government that exists bombed us.
Yeah, bombed themselves.
Yes, every city every major city in the world got bombed at some point. So,
which I like, in hindstance of the episode, and it's gonna sound weird, but I kind of would have liked to see that. Maybe not like the actual bombings themselves, but like some sort of like newsreel where you see from like, like in Asia, like where that scientist was. I think they were like in Vietnam, or I can't remember, Laos or something like that.
Yeah, they were somewhere.
Where you start seeing the government, like you just see missiles just start going out, and then you see like Russia doing the same thing, and then London and Great Britain and all that. It would have been nice to see kind of like, that's just extra me stuff, but I guess if it has nothing to do with the story to progress it along, I just like little extra visual things like that. It would have been nice to see like, prior to the episode 1 outbreak in Texas to what the government did the weeks after that to try to kind of slow and contain the spread of the fungus, pretty much. But I digress.
So pretty much, Tess, Ellie, and Joel, they're walking through the town. They gotta get to what building?
They're trying to get to the historic the history museum.
Okay.
Where the fireflies are supposed to be, and they get there, and
sure enough, they're not there.
Yep, they gone.
They dead. They dead. And then you come across, I guess, your first
glimpse of like I guess you could say maybe stage 1 zombies.
Yeah,
where they're just like all taking a nap, sunbathing.
Pretty much. Not a blunder, but just I guess a lower end.
Yeah.
The entry level of the zombie. And so, sure enough, they have no eyes. It's all about hearing. So you see Joe's like, "Hey, shut the fuck up, be quiet, just whatever," because they had.
They're like bats. They're like bats. Yeah, the clickers.
That's right, clickers. Was it 2 of them?
There's 2 of them. Yeah.
There was 2 in that room, and so they're pretty much right next to them. They can't, no noise being made, so they walk around them. They try to maneuver through, just like the game. And sure enough, of course, you hear noise from the.
Like Tess stepped on something.
Yeah, and then from that point on, it was all hell.
Yeah,
and they just trying to survive best way they can, and through there, Joe was able to kill one.
Joel kills one.
And I think
Ellie helps Tess kill the other one.
Yeah, but then you find out Tess gets bitten.
Yeah,
She gets,
sad, man.
Yeah, she gets bitten. And but the thing about it too, as well, when finally Ellie tells, I guess it was Tess and Joel, what's her purpose? I guess.
Yeah.
The reason why they try to get to the Fireflies is that, hey, I'm immune. So from that point on, Tess is like, oh shit, we could actually have a chance. The world has a chance to survive.
Yeah.
And so she kind of had a change of heart, should I say?
Yeah, I see it that way, but I also see it like kind of like how the creators were talking about it and the showrunner. Really kind of like Tess sees it as a way of redemption, right? Because you get the idea that Tess and Joel were not really good people. You know what I mean?
They sure the hell wasn't.
Like in episode 1, they were like, "Oh, don't tell your boyfriend." You know what I mean? Don't tell Joel.
Yeah.
Because Joel was a hothead and temper and all that, guns blazing. So for me, I think Tess was like, "Man, this is like our chance to kind of atone for the shitty things that we did to survive." Right? I mean, like it's hard to say that they're bad people when you're trying to survive in a world that's lawless, almost to a sense. And then when you have military dictatorships, and then you have uprisings in between them, like with the Fireflies and things like that. But yeah, so I mean, they get to the other Firefly station. Something went wrong. They all had a shootout. Looks like they had a shootout with Fedra. Fedra tracked him down there, and Tess tells Joel that she's bit, and Tess goes out like a G.
Sure does. Pretty much, she able to kind of do a distraction, and kind of so Joel and Ellie could get away, and she pretty much throws out the can of gasoline.
Yeah, all the propane.
And the gasoline, and then
Fedra comes in, and the zombies start coming in because the cordyceps that are in the earth, they start feeling the vibrations.
Yes, and they knew where to go.
Yep.
And once they got there, one of them saw Tess, got to her in the face, and
I know.
He went to kiss her, and she put that shit in her mouth. Was a bomb or whatever? The lighter. And that shit fell and blew them all up. Like,
yeah.
Where did I die? Oh my god.
She went out like a G though, man. She burned all them. She burnt them all. Gave Joel and Ellie a chance. But yeah, you and then you kind of start to see like almost like Joel is starting to kind of have a resentment towards Ellie now that Tess is gone. He's like, real short with her. Hurry up, come on, let's go.
Yeah,
right. It's
he blamed her.
Yeah, he kind of blamed her, even though before Tess died, she made Joel promise to get her to the Fireflies. Like, if you, the old tried and true trope in any movie or show, if you really love me,
right,
just do this for me, please.
This one last
thing. So, hence now we go into episode 3,
which also at the end of episode 2, you see Joe and Ellie walking. She's asking questions about what is that. Then you jump into they're still walking. She's like, what the hell is that? What is that? And then you come across, you see a ditch of burnt bodies.
Yeah.
And Joe mentioned to her they just kill people, whatever kind of deal. And then you find out that they do an up close of the cloth and a dress, a baby blanket. You find out it was a black woman, her baby. Mm-hmm. This is now they go back 20 years.
Yeah,
into the little subdivision.
Yeah, where Fedra was rounding up survivors, and then you hear this. Talk with Ellie and Joel tells Ellie Fedra didn't have enough, so they were just taking people out, killing them, burning the bodies, telling the other people that they were infected when they really weren't because there wasn't enough to go around.
Exactly.
I was like, that's fucking crazy, but it's crazy, but you in the back of my mind, if shit really went down like that, that would really happen. It's not enough. What are you gonna do?
Pretty much.
Crazy.
And so within the town, Fedra takes everybody out of town supposed to have took everyone, leaving behind the crazy conspiracists.
Yeah, conspiracy theorists. Yeah.
Yes, Nick Offerman, Bill.
Which I'm gonna say this, and I may or may not be alone in this comment, but I'm gonna say it. This is probably the greatest love story of all time. It really is. You stop and think about it, the whole episode, and we'll break down episode 3. But it's one of the greatest love stories. I mean, you got like Titanic, you got the greats, Casablanca. You got all these other fantastic time travelers. Why all these other like fantastic love story movies out? The Princess Bride. Like all these things that like you think of a love story like, oh yeah, fucking. Even if you want to go to Disney, like Beauty and the Beast or any of these other ones, like. But this one was pretty good. It was pretty good.
It was pretty good, and Bill, he's a survivalist. So pretty much, he's going everywhere, taking anything he can that's not bolted down to protect his little area. Digging ditches, electric fences, propane, gasoline, booby traps. Pretty much the Goonies.
Yeah.
This motherfucker is Chunk over from the Goonies.
He's a mixture of Chunk and Data.
Yes, he literally is living the Goonies life as an adult.
Yep.
And so enough, he has security cameras around, and he sees one.
Yeah, like a year or two go by, right, of him being by himself, and then he sees.
Yeah, actually, it's 4 years. So 4 years goes by. He sees someone falls in the ditch. He thinks it's one of the actual zombies, one of his clickers, whatever. Sure enough, it's Frank.
Yeah.
And pretty much
goes through the rigmarole. Are you infected? Did you get bit? If I let you go, you're gonna tell others. Like this is in a hotel. Blah 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 blah. And Bill is very standoffish and is not wanting to kind of like help this person at all. Right? He's kind of like and rightfully so. Right? It's like, who do you trust?
Yeah.
Honestly, like who do you trust?
And you have a great line of where Bill says it's not a free lunch. He said it's in the Arby's. He's like, well, Arby's was a restaurant. So that was like pretty funny.
Yeah. So reluctantly he brings Frank in. He lets him take a shower. Makes him a meal, and he's like, oh man, like a man that can cook and knows how to pair wine and blah blah blah. And he's just like, yeah, okay. He's like. And they jump. He finished eating. He's like, "Oh my god, that was so good." He's like, "There's more if you want some." He's like, "No, blah blah blah." And then Frank looks over and sees a piano.
The piano, yeah.
And he's like, "Do you mind?" And Bill's like, "Don't touch my mama's piano." and Frank tries, man. He starts trying to play this Linda Ronstadt song, I believe, and it's just not going all that well. And Bill, can't remember if Bill jumps in on the piano and starts playing it, or if he starts playing it just by himself and starts singing it. I think he starts by himself.
Yeah.
And then Frank's like, "Oh, like who's the girl?" And he's like, "There's no girl." Yeah.
And we knew already was going down, that kind of deal. So, and then I think at that point. I think they kiss at the piano.
Yeah, he kissed. He's like, okay, why don't you go take a shower, blah, blah, blah. And, Bill's like, oh, okay. And so next thing you know, they're in bed, and Frank's like, have you ever done anything like this before? And then, like, you really get to figure out, like, you see a little bit of Bill's past without having to see Bill's past.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell, like, he was a closeted gay man. He had no idea what he was doing with another man other than he knew that he was attracted to him. And then Frank was like, have you done anything? He's like, I was, once with a girl, but, and it was, so he was like, oh, okay. And so, it was sweet, very cute, very innocent, older, not older men, but like young men trying to get lucky, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then we do another time jump, like a 3-year time jump, right?
Yeah. 2010. And this is where you see Frank is telling Bill, kind of a little fight.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to do something. I want to paint this. I want to fix this. And this is okay. Why? He's like, I want to do something, that kind of deal. He said, because I want to bring guests over. He's like, guests? What guests? What are you talking about? Show another guest? Ellie? No, Joe and Tess.
Yeah.
Those are the guests. This is
Find out that Frank's been on the radio without Bill knowing.
Yes.
And talking to people, and invites Joel and Tess over for lunch.
And of course, Frank and Tess head off while Bill and Joel are like very standoffish against each other. They both don't want to be there. You could say they both don't want to be there.
Yeah.
But Frank and Tess is like, no, we're going to have a good dinner and this kind of deal.
We're gonna be friends, and this is gonna work out. And you know, there's a funny scene where Frank and Tess leave. They go inside the house, and it's Bill and Joel, and Bill's like flexing his gun at Joel, and Joel's like, get that fucking gun out of my face.
That was funny.
So I mean, you definitely get to see like how like Bill is Joel, right? And very protective of what he has. You know, definitely weary of other people.
And then of course, Joel was looking around and said, hey, you know, people could break in here really easy. I could help get you this. I could help get you that.
He's like, yeah, you know, a couple of, however long you've had that steel up there, it's not going to last. I can get you galvanized and this, that, and the other. And Bill's like, oh shit, okay, this guy's like, for real. Like it's
the
not,
real deal.
It's not a joke, you know?
Yeah.
This isn't somebody trying to play us.
Yeah, and then from that point on, that's when they kind of became friends at that
Mutual
point.
acquaintances.
Yes, mutual, pretty much.
Yeah. And then we have another time jump.
Now you're looking at 2013.
Yep.
And in 2013, of course, you know, they get closer together. You know, of course they're a couple, but now they're getting older. Frank and Bill's planting seeds for their actual gardens,
vegetables and fruits, and Frank surprises Bill with strawberries.
Yeah, that's because he traded one of Bill's small guns for some seeds, and he's like, "Which gun? Don't worry about it. Just come here." And so they got strawberries now, and they have a little sweet moment. The strawberries, you know, just they're living their life. You know, yes, the world's crazy around them, but they don't care because it's just them.
It's a very sweet scene, very sweet, loving couple scene, and then it goes to all hell breaks loose. If I'm not mistaken, the next scene is the firefight with the raiders that try to come and take what Bill and Frank have, and Bill's booby traps come into.
Booby traps, I mean,
flamethrowers, electrified fences.
That motherfucker was protected, but and the guy outside that gate was just getting done. It was getting burnt up. Anyways, possible, fall into holes, all kind of random shit. You could think, what we could think of? Gunfire. He had guns going off and everything like that. And then, sure enough, Bill gets shot.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh shit.
And then when he gets him inside, Frank's like, it's gonna be okay. And then Bill's like, call Joel, blah blah blah. And then you just like, the screen goes black, and you're like, damn. That's it for Bill.
What you thought?
Wrong. And we get another time jump.
Time jump. Now we're in the current time.
Yeah,
2023. So both guys are just old gay men living their life. Just, you know, everything is kind of back to where I guess where it was. But then you find out Frank is sick.
Yeah.
And this is the real sadness coming in at.
Oh man, I'm gonna try to keep it together, dude, because that was boo and
sadness where he has a undisclosed illness, which I think is.
I think it's Lou Gehrig's. It was like.
So I think some kind of cancer or whatever.
I don't think so. I think it was Lou Gehrig's because even some cancers had cures, and he said this disease didn't even have a cure when the world was right. So that's the only thing, like ALS, you know, Lou Gehrig's ALS. Yeah. Because you could tell, like, he was losing his motor functions. You know. Yeah,
he couldn't paint. You see the pictures that he did paint. Half of the painting is perfect the way he likes it. The other half is just all over the place.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, he's in a wheelchair, and Bill's kind of pushing him all over the place, and then you kind of get to the point to where.
He tells Bill, he's like, look.
His dying wish.
Yeah.
This is my dying wish. Tomorrow's my last day.
you know, we're gonna get up, we're gonna have a wonderful breakfast, we're gonna go shopping, you're gonna buy the clothes that I want you to buy, and we're gonna get married, and then we're gonna come home and we're gonna, you know, you're gonna cook an amazing dinner, and then you're gonna crush these pills up and put them in my wine, and you're just gonna let me go, and blah blah blah. And you're just like, okay, trying to keep it together, right? Like, all right. So that's like all these little scenes, these little montages of them doing the day, right? And then them getting married, and you're just like, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. And then the dinner that Bill makes, you know, for them to eat is the exact same meal that he made when they first met. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, oh, bro, what is going on? Like, there's way too many feels going on right now.
Yeah.
For this episode.
Yeah, I was getting a little teary, a little watery eye. I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, you were getting teary eyed. I was done, dude. I was done when he drank the wine and then he was like, why is the bag still here? And he's like, because it's been in the wine bottle this whole time. And you find out that him and Bill have been drinking it the whole time.
Exactly.
And he's like, you weren't supposed. He's like, you don't understand. Like, I love you, and
I
want to go out with you.
And he tells him, "You're my purpose."
Yeah. Oh God. All right.
Yeah, and so and then, sure enough, he picks him up, takes him to the bedroom downstairs. No, upstairs.
No, downstairs.
Was it downstairs?
Yeah, because he couldn't go up the stairs anymore.
Oh, he didn't carry him upstairs?
No. It was downstairs.
Okay, I thought it was upstairs.
Yeah.
So downstairs, he locks the door, opens the window because he already knows they're both gonna die.
Yeah.
Just like Romeo and Juliet, pretty much greatest love story out there. Mm-hmm. They feel down the same way in bed. So now, when this happens, you don't really know how soon this happens.
I would say maybe a week or two later.
You think so? A week or two later?
Because like
Joe and Ellie shows up.
Yeah, because Ellie's like, oh, it's pretty fresh in there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so they get to the gate. Joe knows the combination. Of course, they get in. They go to the house, and they see the food on the table. They see everything
starting to rot. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see Joe's like, hey, stay here. Let me check the house out. And Ellie sees a note. And, Joe comes back. She's like, I think I found something. And so she's like, he's like, want to read? She's like, no. And so Ellie decides to read the note. And I think in the beginning it said, to who it may concern, but probably Joel.
Yeah, but probably Joel. Yeah.
And so she's reading the note. She's pretty much, that's what it is. To whomever, but most likely Joel. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That was funny.
So she starts reading the letter. Pretty much, Bill tells Joel like you and Tess can have everything.
Yeah.
Like take my truck, take my guns, blah blah blah.
Yeah, he said
and
everything.
Then
well, see, at the time
he ends it with like.
Well, remember at the time when she was reading the note, it wasn't until toward the end of the note he mentioned Tess. He's like, don't say that. And so he's like, hope everything works out. Hope everything works out. Everything that you see here, you can have, whatever, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
And toward the end of the note, you see what it says. I hope you and Tess are doing okay. And that's when Joe kind of took the note, kind of got mad and kind of angry and that kind of deal.
Yeah. Well, but there was the other part of the note that was like, I can understand now why me and you were alike, because we are survivors, we are protectors, we have to protect what we love and what we care for, and that's when he mentions Tess.
Yeah, and for Bill was like, he mentioned a note. I want the world to rot. I want the world to burn.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't care about this world, but he said it wasn't until he met someone that he had a change of heart.
Yeah,
of course that was Frank, and that was, oh boy, and that happened. That was.
Then they start playing the real Linda Ronstadt song, Long Time. Man, I was like, good grief, that's such a beautiful love story. Like, I swear, I still stand by my comment that I think is the best love story, because there was no bullshit in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some of these like love stories, like you get even like Romeo and Juliet, like you mentioned, like one of the greatest like Shakespearean love stories. There's some bullshit in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like just like extra shit that like doesn't really matter. I mean, yes, it makes for the story, and yes, it adds for this, but it's just like sometimes there's just filler in there just to be filler. But like this one, like you had to, like the only thing you really had to contest with was like the time jumps, right? But even still, like the time jumps, they were like poignant and in poignant places in their lives together.
Yeah.
What I'm interested in is if they ever release season 1. Well, I mean not at whenever or if they ever, but they probably will. Is there's like a 2.5 hour version of that episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the director and the showrunner, they said when they watched it back, they're like, this is like it's too much feels. Like we gotta cut it, like trim it. So I can only imagine like what like the 2.5 hour version looks.
How long was it? Was it like 45 minutes?
It was like an hour episode.
Okay.
Yeah. So an extra hour and 30 minutes.
That's a movie.
It might be the greatest love story movie of all time. You never know. Like I'm interested to see like, hey, is there an unedited version of that episode? That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Or even like a director's cut. You maybe get like 20 more minutes of scenes or more of that episode. But yeah.
Yeah, and so pretty much Joe and Ellie goes in the house, takes showers, eat, get cleaned up, gets the truck, get everything they need supplies wise. And Elliott's like, hey, I found this tape. This cassette. Of course, cassette was Linda Ronstadt, same song, long places, long time. And they play it out. She puts it in, plays it, and he's leaving the gate. But then you see that toward the end, the camera is in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And they're zooming out in that same bedroom that Bill and Frank died in and just cuts off. And,
the windows open, the curtains are kind of blowing with the wind. Yeah.
Like a perfect day. And it cuts off, and the song's playing with the credits happening. It's just like, damn, like this is tough.
Yeah, it definitely was a phenomenal episode. I think so far. I know we're only doing 2 and 3. Pretty much every episode has been a banger.
I think every episode so far has been better than the last.
You said you didn't really care for episode 1 all that much, right? Or you liked it, but it wasn't.
I liked it, but now like each one's getting better.
Yeah.
Every episode, this is kind of the same thing like House of the Dragon, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Every episode got better than the last.
Yeah.
So it's like, you like, fuck, bro, like this shit is wild.
Yeah, I really liked episode 1. Episode 2 is the one that was kind of iffy for me. I think there was, I think they kind of tried to draw out too much of the walking through Boston or getting out of Boston, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like
it had to show everyone, the viewers, what the fuck happened on a grander scale. Because
I like the beginning where you do the flashback of like the first scientist, right?
Yeah.
I like that. I like them going through Boston, but it just seems like the whole trek in Boston was just longer than what it needed to be. And then you got, Tess's death and let's hurry up and go. And I don't know. I think episode 2 is probably my least favorite one so far.
Okay, I can see that.
I think 3 is great. We're going to get to 4 and 5, which are, those were heartbreaking ones too. So,
yeah.
Well, 5 wasn't, but 6 definitely was.
Oh, yeah, 6
was. But I think that pretty much wraps up this episode. We appreciate you guys. Again, like I said, we're going to rapid fire some episodes for you guys. So we might put out 2 shows this week. We're going to throw out the video versions on both of our channels. Mark's channel is going to have one. Jay Rue, the Comic Guru, is going to have his own channel. So we're both going to have 2 video versions. Pick your choose which one you like. Like, share, subscribe, follow. And
we're back, bitches.
We're back, baby. We back.
So, yes, we're about to see a whole bunch of content in this couple of weeks.
Yes, and I got some comics coming in that I'll be reviewing and kind of giving my thoughts out. So shout outs to, let me see right here. Paper Chase Comics, by the way. I buy from them on Whatnot all the time. And they are starting their own podcast here shortly. And they showed me some mad love over the weekend when I was shopping on their Whatnot stream. So I got a ton of followers. I don't know if you got a ton of followers, and I put your handle on there. But put the link to the show.
Oh, maybe
so we should get a lot more at least
Appreciate it.
views and stuff like that. So Paper Chase Comics, appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks,
so
guys.
when you
Appreciate
guys' first episode drops, I'm gonna copy that link and put it in our show notes, and be sure to share the love with you guys. So we definitely appreciate that.
For show.
For show. And with that, we'll see you on the next episode. And we out,
Man.
bitches.